Good morning and welcome to Cappin at the Spa with Saratoga Geeze on Alabama Day. We're recording live from Bayville, New Jersey as we're gearing up for Travers Week next week. I have 4 selections for you today as well as a few thoughts on the Alabama. But first let's introduce my pal here, Saratoga Shea. It's his first time on the show. He's a big frequenter of Saratoga and we love to have him here on the show. He generally doesn't have too many selections, but if he nods, that means the horse is live. And if he walks away, that means he does not like my picks. So let's go today to our first race, which is race number 4. We're looking at a optional claiming 80,000 at a mile and the 16th on the grass, and I'm looking at Chiropractor. 12 to 1 on the morning line with Tom Proctor. Now Chiropractor hasn't run since June at Delaware, ran 4th, beating a length and a half to Ghost Hunter. Very interestingly, Ghost Hunter came back and won the Arlington Handicap, a grade 3, and he beat Manitoulin, the 6 horse, who ran 4th, beating a length and a half in that race. And Manitoulin's going to be the favorite in this race. So you're going to have a 2 to 1 favorite who lost by a length and a half to the same horse that Chiropractor lost to. And those Delaware races are coming up very strong. The other horse, Postulation, who ran in that Ghost Hunter race, came back and won a stakes at Delaware and then came back and won at Saratoga. So I think those Delaware races are pretty strong, and we're going to take a shot with Chiropractor at 12 to 1 with Tom Proctor in the 4th race. Let's move on to the 6th race, and in the 6th race, we like another 12 to 1 shot hookup. Number 5, David Canizzo, in an allowance non-winners of 1 at a mile and an 1/8. This again, Caviar Czar, who would have been one of the favorites in this race, is going to be scratched. He ran yesterday and won, so he's certainly out of the race. The favorite's going to be Meantime, the 8 horse, coming out of the Peter Pan and the Belmont Stakes. He's got a lot of speed. He hasn't run in a couple of months. I'm a little concerned that he's going to get away to a lead, but blame us all, the 1 horse we're hoping is going to run with the 8, and that's going to hopefully set some things up for the 5. Now the 5 horse hasn't run since the Remsen last November, but he ran an excellent race in his maiden, winning by 4 lengths and beating Everybody Loves Rudy and Spieth. Spieth came back here the last day or two and won a race convincingly, and Everybody Loves Rudy beat Caviar Czar in an allowance at Belmont in July. So the horse has excellent connections from 2016, and with a normal improvement in Beyer in his 3-year-old year, Canizzo has a chance to steal this race at 12 to 1, and Canizzo is 29% on layoffs of 180 days or more with a $2.94 ROI. So we definitely have a shot here with hookup at 12 to 1. We're going to move to the 7th race, and we're going to look at the entry. This is an allowance non-winners of 1, a mile on the grass, and we're looking at the 1 entry with Mark Casse at 8 to 1. The horse I'm really keen on is La Sola Ranger. La Sola Ranger, I watched this race this morning. He was inside, checked at the 8th pole between horses at 18 to 1 last time out, and lost to Act Naughty and Mom's on Strike. Now, in my opinion, the horse had been improving every race, and he really was behind a wall of horses and had nowhere to go for most of the stretch. So with just a little improvement, I think he would have been maybe a length behind Mom's on Strike, who ran an 88 buyer that day. So with normal progression, I think La Sola Ranger would have run in the 85, 86 range, which is the buyer par to win this race. Mom's on Strike went outside and had no trouble whatsoever. So if Mom's on Strike's going to be the favorite, you also got a Chad Brown horse coming from Europe, who I think is going to take some money. And you also have the 9 Vagabond, who ran in that same race and didn't have quite as much trouble as La Sola Ranger. Also ran pretty well. I think those horses are going to take some money. So I'm going to take a shot. I'm hoping to get at least 6 to 1 on the Mark Casse entry. And I also get the 1A Giada Vegas, who has a shot as an extra horse in that race. So I'm certainly going to take him. So those are 3 selections. Let's talk for a second about the Alabama. I did a little research looking at the Alabama because, of course, why is a race in New York named Alabama, right? So it turns out there's a guy named William Cottrell from Mobile, Alabama, who was a breeder down there, who had something to do with the breeding and the connections of Kentucky, who won the first Travers in 1864. It's a little murky as to why they wanted to name a race for him, but he was a modest guy and he did not want a race named after him, so they decided to name it after his home state of Alabama, and the first race was run in 1872. So there's your little history lesson on the Alabama. Let's take a quick look at the race. I love Salty. He's one of my favorite horses. I think he had a rough trip in the Kentucky Oaks. Ran a great race against Abel Tasman in the Acorn. And the Coaching Club American Oaks, anybody who wants to bet this Alabama has to go back and watch that race. Salty got left at the gate, cost him at least 5 lengths. On the far turn, he made a big, wide, sweeping move, got within a length or two of the lead, and flattened out. Perfectly understandable. Certainly should have won that race. Was 5-2 that day. 9-2 on the morning line. I'm going to give him another chance. Mark Casse was very cold early in the meet. He's getting hot now. So I think this horse is going to run very well. And I got to tell you, I like the long shots behind him. It's a very interesting race where really the favorites aren't any better than anybody else. So the 3, the 8, and the 9, which are the 3 longest shots on the board, I think all have a chance. None of these horses have gone 1.25 miles on the dirt. So it's a bit of a crapshoot. So I'm going to take Salty and I'm going to hook him up with the long shots. And let's get to the last race, which is my last selection. And I'm certainly playing a daily double, a late daily double with Salty and my horse in the 10th race, which is number 9, A Change of Heart, 10-1 on the morning line. This is a maiden special weight at 1 mile. The Beyer par is an 81, and only one horse in the race has come within 8 or 9 points of that 81, and that's Assertive, the one horse. Now, Assertive could be a very, very good horse. He lost to Salty and also to Holy Helena, who's in the Alabama early in his career, and in his first race on the grass, only lost by a length at 7 furlongs, and now he's stretching out to 1 mile. No one else in the race scares me at all. And A Change of Heart, you're talking about a Chris Clement horse who ran sloppy 6 furlongs first time out. The horse clearly had no interest in winning that race. Showed a lot of speed and was within 2 lengths of the race around the turn. And then it almost looks like Le Peru just was using it as a 4 furlong workout. He just jogged the rest of the way. Ran last, beaten 24 lengths. That doesn't bother me at all. We got really a first-time turfer with excellent turf Tomlinsons. Christophe Clement, who's had a very, just a bad luck meet. He's got 12 seconds and thirds and 30 starts, only 2 wins. We're hoping he can turn that around a little bit, and we're certainly going to hook him up with the 1. But our pick in the last race is the 9, A Change of Heart. So that's it for today. Good luck to you all. Have a great Alabama, and here's hoping that today is your day.